Hey everybody, it's your Gay Sports Fanatic here today, and today we're going to take a look at the NFC North. I just got back from the gym, and I put on my playlist of classic Motown. And we're talking great stuff, folks. It's old, but it's great. We got Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, the Four Tops, the Temptations, Diana Ross. I mean, get out of town. I'm leaving people out. It's awesome. So, Detroit, in case you haven't noticed, maybe you haven't, is on the rise. They are on the move after years of neglect, bad coaching, bad press. They are on the rise. And nothing was further exemplified by this than this June when a lot of these legends that are still alive that I just mentioned came back to Detroit to celebrate the historic reopening of Grand Central Station in Detroit. If you didn't hear about it, it's a pretty amazing story and it tells you all you need to know about Detroit. They reopened this Grand Central Station, which hadn't seen a train in 50 years, maybe. And all these superstars, legends of Detroit came back to open it up. It is refurbished and restored. And you could say the same thing and more about the Detroit Lions. They are back and they are back big. And last year, they came back strong. As you probably know, they made the NFC Championship game. This year, that's not good enough. They're looking, the Motown made the top four last year. Well, they're on the charts with a bullet headed straight for number one. And they are led by the best coach in the NFL, for my money, Mr. Dan Campbell. This guy has remade this team into his own image. Tenacious, tough, teamwork, believes they can win. He believes in it. He doesn't care about the last 60 years. As you know, Detroit has never been to a Super Bowl. Last year was the closest they've ever even came to a Super Bowl. Well, they're going to change. There's a good chance. I'm going to make a prediction here, but there's a good chance they're not. Mr. Campbell and this team is not happy with an NFC championship this year. That's not going to cut it. A Super Bowl is what they want. And what they won't stop working for is to bring that Vince Lombardi trophy to Detroit. That'll show the world Detroit is back. Now, you probably think I'm from Detroit with this line. I'm not at all. And I'll explain to you later why. But I mean, what do you say about this team? The players on this team. I mean, you got Sam Laporta, you've got Jamar Gibbs, you've got David Montgomery, you've got Mr. Saint Brown here. I mean, my God, they just signed him. Thank God for Lions fans. I mean, just this team is ready. Their defense is they have the best offensive line in the NFL. Period. 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 So, yeah, I don't see anybody stopping them here. Okay, so I see Detroit, NFC North. That winning that is not going to do it. I see bigger things, and like I said, they got a bullet and they're headed number one. And I'll tell you what, everybody else, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Cowboys, if they're going to show up this year, and then AFC side, of course, the Chiefs, whatever, you better all look out because you got a bullet on your back. Detroit's got a bullet on you, and they're coming for you. So really exciting team to watch this year. I give them a 90% chance to win the NFC North. So look at the other three teams. These other three teams in the NFC North, I believe, just like vultures on the Serengeti, they're going to be picking at the scavengers and the left behinds of the Lions. But they do have hope. So we're going to go to each one real quick here. First up for me is the Bears. Now, they haven't had a winning season in 12 years, and they're about as hapless of a franchise as you're going to find in the NFL. However, and all three of the teams that I'm going to talk about here, it all comes down to basically their quarterbacks. You could make the case in each one of these cases that the quarterback will be the key. Now, you could say that probably about almost all teams, but in these three cases, it's really critical. So in the Bears, there are two rookie quarterbacks coming in straight out of college into the NFC North. There's two of them. So the first one was drafted by the Bears, and they made a great decision. They kicked out Justin Fields, who was going to be their latest greatest addition at quarterback to the Bears. They have never had a franchise quarterback in Chicago Bear history. Never. Now, I know people are going to say Jim McMahon. No. The Bears were that good at that time because they had one of the best defenses ever to play in the NFL. And Jim McMahon was good. Don't get me wrong. He was more than average. He was above average, but he was no franchise quarterback. He didn't have to be. Okay. So let's say that right off. The Bears have never had, in fact, they've got a history of drafting, and you couldn't be worse, their draft history at the quarterback position. Well, let's see, because this year they took a big gamble. They showed Justin Fields the door, which I would have done too. I agree with that. And they drafted the Heisman Trophy winner and probably the cockiest, some might say arrogant, top pick ever in the history of the NFL, Caleb Williams. He was the quarterback at USC. If you recall, during his final year last year at USC, he said that whoever drafted him, not only would they have to pay him, of course, a massive salary without him having played it down, but he also got, get a load for this, a percentage of the team. Okay, so that's hubris, all right? I'm sure the McCaskey family in Chicago, had sleepless nights over that when they picked him. But hey, this kid, if he can back up this arrogance, he had some great games last year in college, but playing the now defunct Pac 12 defenses is not the same as coming into the NFL. So we're going to see. This is the big question mark. If this kid, and I'll tell you what, my hunch is that this guy may back up some of this talk with some action here. This kid in his first year, I think, could show results. And the Bears, who improved a lot last year, they could take another step forward this year and be that team that takes the wild card slot behind Detroit, of course, in the NFL NFC North. Now, I don't think they can. I don't think they can really compete with Detroit at this point for the title. I always said there's a 10% chance somebody could. Detroit or Chicago would be the one I would probably pick at the highest of these other three to do it. Next, let's move on to the Packers. So last year, the Packers barely made the playoffs by the skin of their teeth, and they went in and surprised everybody by kicking Dallas's keister in the first round. Don't lay too much confidence on that. Everybody beats Dallas in the playoffs early in the first go around. You couldn't get a better draw than the Cowboys in the playoffs. So Green Bay did kill them though. So so the Packers had pretty good season last year. It's all going to come down again to their quarterback. Once again, it all comes back down to Jordan Love. I mean, he's a key to this team. They're also one of probably the youngest team, I believe, in the NFL. So with youth comes an experience, but it also comes a lot of potential. So Green Bay, keep an eye. I don't see much improvement over last year. In fact, I think they may come down just a little bit. They got a little bit lucky last year in some games. That leads me to the Vikings. And here's where I'm going to have to come out of the closet again for I don't know how many times. I am a Minnesota Viking fan. I'm just going to say it. This is why my Detroit diatribe earlier. Look, I have no love for Detroit. It's just I'm stating the truth. But the Vikings are my team. I grew up in Northern Iowa. I've been a Viking fan since I was 5 years old. So I'm going to put that out there for you. But you'll see that I try to call these shots as I see them. And the Vikings as well. They've been looking for a quarterback for a long, long time. And so they have drafted a rookie quarterback out of Michigan, J.J. McCarthy. Now, he is the opposite. J.J. is the opposite of Caleb at Chicago. He comes in, he's humble. He's not hyping expectations much at all. But I would say, and he's fighting for the starting position or for playing time with Darnell, who has been nothing but a major disappointment I think he's 26 years old or whatever. But if I were the Vikings, I would put in J.J. right away. I just let's just go. I mean, you're kind of playing for the future here. You've got a lot of new faces on the Vikings on the team too. So I just put him in and see where the chips fall with all these new players. Maybe treat this a little bit of as a growing season. Hey, everything could fall in line, and the Vikings could have some bounces go their way. They got the best receiver in the NFL. I mean, if Darnell or hopefully I hope JJ can get the ball within 4 yards of Justin Jefferson, this guy will catch it. Okay, so They got a great weapon there. So that's my look at the NFC North. It's all Motown, baby. It's all Motown to me. So we'll see what happens. If you like what I said here, you may very well not like it. Please hit like. Please subscribe. Go ahead and comment. Give me some ideas on shows. I may respond to you. So anyway, over and out, you guys. It's your Gay Sports Fanatic.